Lyda, you helped me feel more confident. I used to think I was bad at English, but now I believe I can improve." Those words made Adam's heart warm. He realized that helping others also helped him see who he was becoming: kind, patient, and strong. That night he wrote again in his notebook, "Day 12. I helped Aisha today. She said I made her feel confident. Maybe that's who I am, someone who makes others believe in themselves." Let's repeat that together. I help others believe in themselves. I am kind, I am patient, and I am strong. Very well done. The next morning, Adam's grandmother found his notebook on the table. She read a few pages and smiled. When Adam came in, she said, "You're writing beautiful thoughts, my dear. You're growing so much." Adam laughed softly. "Yes, Grandma. I think English is not just a language. It's a mirror. It shows me who I am becoming." She nodded. "Exactly. And you know what? The best way to learn any language is to live it, to use it in real life, not just in books." Adam smiled. "That's what I'm doing now." He didn't realize it, but he was becoming an inspiration, not only to his grandmother or Aisha, but to everyone around him. Because every word he learned brought him closer to the answer he had been searching for since the beginning. Who am I? He was starting to find out, through action, through kindness, through learning, and through courage. Week later, something unexpected happened. A new student joined Adam's class. Her name was Aisha. She had just moved to the town and didn't know anyone. She was very quiet. Adam noticed that she was struggling to understand the lessons. During break time, he went up to her and said kindly, "Hi, I'm Adam. Do you need help with English?" Aisha looked shy but smiled. "Yes, I'm not very good at it yet." "That's okay," Adam said. "I can help you. We can practice together." From that day, Adam and Aisha became study partners. Every afternoon they met in the park, sat under a big tree, and practiced English together. Adam helped her pronounce new words, and she helped him understand new grammar. They often laughed when they made mistakes. "Don't worry," Adam said. "Mistakes mean you're learning." One afternoon, Aisha said, "Adam, you're a good teacher." He smiled. "Thank you. I just like helping." She didn't win the dictionary, but he didn't need it. He had already won something bigger: confidence. That evening, Adam wrote in his notebook, "Day 7. I didn't win the prize, but I won my fear. I spoke in front of everyone. I am proud. I am becoming stronger. Let's practice a few more powerful sentences together. I am brave. I am confident. I am learning from my mistakes. I never give up. Perfect." Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam. Today I want to tell you about my journey of learning English and discovering myself. When I started, I was shy and afraid to speak. But now I feel brave. English helps me understand myself better. It helps me connect with people. I am learning not only a language but also who I am. When he finished, the room was silent for a second, and then everyone clapped. His teacher smiled and said, "That was beautiful, Adam. You spoke from your heart." A few months passed after the national event, and Adam's life continued to blossom in quiet, meaningful ways. His English classes were now larger than ever. Parents came to thank him. Some adults even joined his evening lessons, shy at first but eager to learn. One evening, an old man came and said, "Adam, I never learned English when I was young. But now, I want to talk to my grandson who lives in another country. Can you help me?" Adam smiled warmly. "Of course. It's never too late to learn." Every evening, the man practiced simple sentences like, "How are you?" and "I miss you." After 2 months, he proudly showed Adam a video call where he spoke to his grandson in English for the very first time. When the call ended, the man had tears in his eyes. "Thank you, Adam," he said. "You didn't just teach me words, you gave me a way to reach my family." Adam smiled softly. That's what English does. It connects hearts. Let's repeat those words together. English connects hearts. It's never too late to learn. I can change someone's life with kindness. Wonderful. One afternoon, as Adam was organizing his students' notebooks, he found his old one, the small brown notebook where it had all begun. The pages were slightly yellow, the ink faded, but every word was full of memories. He turned to the first page and read his old line. Day 1. Today I started learning English. I am nervous but excited. He smiled, remembering that boy who could barely form a sentence. Then he flipped to the last page where he had written months ago. Day 130. I am a storyteller of hope. Adam sat quietly, running his hand across the pages. This book is more than paper, he whispered. It's my journey. He decided to show it to his students the next day. When the class began, he held it up and said, "Do you know what this is?" The children shook their heads. "This," he said, "is my English diary. Every time I learned something new, I wrote it down. Every mistake, every success, every dream. It helped me remember how far I've come." He opened it and read some lines aloud. The students listened carefully. Then Adam smiled. "I want you to start your own English diaries too. Write one thing you learn every day. It can be a new word, a new sentence, or even a feeling." The children clapped excitedly. "Yes, teacher. Let's pause and repeat. I will write my English diary. I will learn something new every day. My progress matters. Beautiful." That evening, Adam walked to his favorite spot near the river. The water sparkled in the sunlight, just as it had years ago when he used to sit there and dream. He looked at his reflection and smiled. "Who am I?" he whispered again, not as a question but as a gentle memory. He said softly, "I am Adam, the boy who learned, the teacher who shared, the dreamer who never gave up." He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, feeling the peace inside him. Let's repeat those strong, powerful lines together. I am the one who learns. I am the one who shares. I am the one who never gives up. Excellent. As he sat by the river, a young girl approached him. It was Sarah, one of his brightest students. She carried her notebook and said shyly, "Teacher, can I read something to you?" Adam nodded. "Of course, Sarah, go ahead." She opened her notebook and began reading. Day 30. My dream is to become a teacher like Adam. English makes me happy. When I learn new words, I feel powerful. Adam's eyes sparkled. "That's wonderful, Sarah. You're already on your way." Sarah smiled. "You said once that English gives us wings. I believe it now. Thank you for helping me fly." Adam felt his heart swell with joy. "You're welcome, Sarah, but remember, you were always meant to fly." That night, Adam wrote his final entry in his notebook. Day 150, today. One of my students said English gave her wings. That's when I realized something. My story is no longer just mine. It's growing through others. And maybe that's the real answer to the question, who am I? I am part of every dream I inspire. He put down his pen and smiled. The journey that began with confusion had ended in clarity, love, and connection. Let's repeat that together. I am part of every dream I inspire. My story continues through others. I am proud of who I've become. You're doing great. Now, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Think about your own journey. You started learning English just like Adam. One word, one sentence, one dream at a time. Maybe you felt nervous. Maybe you made mistakes. But every step brought you here, to this moment. So now I want you to say these words aloud. With confidence and pride. I am learning English. I am growing every day. I believe in myself. I am strong. I am kind. I am brave. I will never stop learning. Excellent. Remember, learning English is not only about grammar or vocabulary. It's about believing in your potential, finding your voice, and connecting with the world. When you speak, the world listens. When you try, the world opens its doors. When you believe, your dreams begin to move closer. Just like Adam, you are on your own journey. There will be days of struggle and days of success, but every single one of them matters. And one day, when you look back, you'll smile and say, "This is who I am." Let's finish this story together by saying, I am becoming who I'm meant to be. I am enough. I am proud of my English journey. And now, my dear learner, keep going. Keep learning, keep shining, because your story is just beginning. The world is waiting for your voice. Weeks passed, and Adam's English improved quickly. Every new word felt like a small piece of magic. He practiced reading stories, watching English videos, and writing in his notebook every night. Sometimes he even dreamed in English. One morning, his teacher gave the class a new project. Each of you, she said, will create something in English that expresses who you are. It can be a story, a drawing, a song, or even a speech. Adam thought carefully. He didn't want to make something ordinary. He wanted his project to mean something, to truly show who he was. After class, he sat by the river again. The same river where he once asked himself, "Who am I?" Now he felt different. He had learned, grown, and helped others. He still didn't have all the answers, but he felt closer. He whispered to himself, "Maybe I am a storyteller." And that was it. He decided to write a story, his story in English. That evening, he opened his notebook and began writing. The title was The Boy Who Wanted to Know Himself. It was about a boy who asked a simple question, "Who am I?" and found the answer through learning, kindness, and courage. As he wrote, Adam smiled. The boy in the story was him, but the story wasn't just about him. It was about anyone who was searching, anyone who wanted to grow. He wrote, "The boy didn't need to be perfect. He just needed to keep learning, keep trying, and keep believing." When he finished, he felt proud. The next day, he showed his teacher. She read it slowly, smiled, and said, "Adam, this is beautiful. You've grown so much. You didn't just learn English. You learned how to express your heart." Adam felt shy but happy. "Thank you, teacher. Let's pause for a moment and practice. Repeat after me. I can express my heart. I can share my story. I am learning to communicate." Wonderful. The teacher continued, "Adam, your story will inspire others. Would you like to read it in front of the class next week?" Adam's eyes widened. He was nervous, but deep inside he felt ready. "Yes," he said. "I would love to." That night he told his grandmother. She clapped her hands joyfully. "I'm so proud of you, Adam. Remember, speak slowly, smile, and believe in your words." For the next few days, Adam practiced every line. He read his story out loud in front of the mirror, focusing on pronunciation and emotion. "The boy wanted to know who he was," he said softly, looking into his reflection. He learned that he was not just one thing, but many things. Each time he practiced, he spoke with more confidence. On the day of the presentation, the classroom was full of excitement. Some students had drawings, others had songs. When it was Adam's turn, he stood up holding his notebook close to his heart. He began, "Once there was a boy who asked a big question, 'Who am I?' At first he didn't know, but through learning, helping others, and believing in himself, he started to find the answer." He paused, looked at his classmates, and continued. He learned that he was kind. He learned that he was brave. He learned that he could change, and that every new word, every new lesson was part of his journey. When he finished, everyone clapped loudly. Some students even said, "That was amazing." His teacher said, "Adam, that story shows who you really are. You are a learner, a helper, and a storyteller." Adam smiled. For the first time, he truly felt proud of himself, not because of his grades, but because he had shared something real. Let's take a moment to practice again. Repeat these sentences. I am a learner. I am a helper. I am a storyteller. Excellent. That evening, Adam sat on his bed thinking about the day. He realized that English was not just a subject, it had become a part of him. It helped him see the world differently. When he read English books, he imagined new worlds. When he watched English videos, he understood people from different cultures. When he wrote in English, he expressed his deepest thoughts. He whispered, "English is helping me find my voice." He opened his notebook and wrote, Day 21. Today I told my story in English. I felt brave. English gives me a voice, so maybe who I am is someone who wants to connect with the world. He closed his notebook, feeling grateful. The next day, Aisha came up to him after class. Adam, she said, your story made me think. I also ask myself who I am sometimes. Adam smiled kindly. That's good, Aisha. Asking questions helps us grow, she nodded. I want to write my story too. That's a great idea, Adam said. We can all write our stories. That week, more students started writing about themselves. The classroom was full of creativity, stories, drawings, poems, songs, all in English. The teacher was amazed. You've all done something wonderful, she said. You've used English not only to learn words, but to discover yourselves. That moment changed everything for Adam. He realized that one person's courage to speak can inspire many others. He thought, maybe who I am is someone who starts something good. Let's practice these sentences together. I can inspire others. I can start something good. My words have power. Beautiful. Later that day, Adam and Aisha walked home together. The sky was orange with the setting sun. Aisha said softly, "You know, Adam, I think English helps us understand not only others but also ourselves." Adam nodded. "Yes, it's like a mirror. When we speak, we hear ourselves. When we write, we understand our thoughts." They walked quietly for a while. Then Adam said, "Do you ever feel afraid of the future?" Aisha smiled gently. "Sometimes. But I think learning helps me feel ready. When I learn, I feel stronger." Adam thought about that and said, "Yes, me too. Every new word makes me a little stronger." That night, Adam wrote his final note for the month. Day 30, I used to ask, "Who am I?" Now, I know I don't need a perfect answer. I just need to keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in myself. Every day, I become a little more me. He closed his notebook and looked at the stars again, just like the first day. But this time, his question had turned into something else. It was no longer who am I? It was who am I becoming? And he smiled because that question felt full of hope. Let's finish this section with a few powerful phrases. Repeat after me slowly. I am becoming better every day. I am learning about myself. I am proud of who I am. I believe in my journey. Wonderful work. You are doing great, just like Adam. Remember, learning English is not only about grammar or vocabulary. It's about finding your voice, your courage, and your confidence. And as Adam's story continues, you'll see that every small lesson, every kind action, every word spoken from the heart brings him closer to understanding who he truly is. Those words made Adam's heart warm. He realized that helping others also helped him see who he was becoming, kind, patient, and strong. That night, he wrote again in his notebook. Day 12. I helped Aisha today. She said I made her feel confident. Maybe that's who I am, someone who makes others believe in themselves. Let's repeat that together. I help others believe in themselves. I am kind. I am patient. I am strong. Very well done. The next morning, Adam's grandmother found his notebook on the table. She read a few pages and smiled. When Adam came in, she said, "You're writing beautiful thoughts, my dear. You're growing so much." Adam laughed softly. "Yes, Grandma. I think English is not just a language. It's a mirror. It shows me who I am becoming." She nodded. "Exactly. And you know what? The best way to learn any language is to live it, to use it in real life, not just in books." Adam smiled. "That's what I'm doing now." He didn't realize it, but he was becoming an inspiration, not only to his grandmother or Aisha, but to everyone around him, because every word he learned brought him closer to the answer he had been searching for since the beginning. Who am I? He was starting to find out, through action, through kindness, through learning, and through courage. A week later, something unexpected happened. A new student joined Adam's class. Her name was Aisha. She had just moved to the town and didn't know anyone. She was very quiet. Adam noticed that she was struggling to understand the lessons. During break time, he went up to her and said kindly, "Hi, I'm Adam. Do you need help with English?" Aisha looked shy but smiled. "Yes. I'm not very good at it yet." "That's okay," Adam said. "I can help you. We can practice together." From that day, Adam and Aisha became study partners. Every afternoon they met in the park, sat under a big tree, and practiced English together. Adam helped her pronounce new words, and she helped him understand new grammar. They often laughed when they made mistakes. "Don't worry," Adam said. "Mistakes mean you're learning." One afternoon, Aisha said, "Adam, you're a good teacher." He smiled. "Thank you. I just like helping." She didn't win the dictionary, but he didn't need it. He had already won something bigger: confidence. That evening, Adam wrote in his notebook. Day 7. I didn't win the prize, but I won my fear. I spoke in front of everyone. I am proud. I am becoming stronger. Let's practice a few more powerful sentences together. I am brave. I am confident. I am learning from my mistakes. I never give up. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam. Today I want to tell you about my journey of learning English and discovering myself. When I started, I was shy and afraid to speak, but now I feel brave. English helps me understand myself better. It helps me connect with people. I am learning not only a language, but also who I am. When he finished, the room was silent for a second, and then everyone clapped. His teacher smiled and said, "That was beautiful, Adam. You spoke from your heart." The day of the national storytelling competition finally arrived. Adam woke up early, nervous but excited. The sun was shining through his window, and he could hear the morning birds singing. His grandmother had prepared breakfast, but Adam could barely eat. His stomach was full of butterflies. "You'll do great," his grandmother said gently. "Just be yourself, my dear." Adam nodded. "Thank you, Grandma. I'll do my best." He packed his notebook, his lucky pen, and a small picture of his family. On the bus to the city, he stared out the window, thinking about everything that had led him here. The nights of studying, the small victories, the mistakes, the lessons, the smiles. He whispered softly, "I've come a long way." When he reached the competition hall, he saw students from different towns and schools. Some wore fancy uniforms, some carried big folders full of papers, and some spoke fluent English already. For a moment, Adam felt small. What if I'm not as good as them? He thought. But then he remembered his grandmother's words. Just be yourself. He took a deep breath and said quietly, "I am Adam. I have my own story to tell. Repeat after me. I am confident. I have my own story. I believe in myself." Beautiful. Soon, the announcer's voice filled the hall. "Next, we have Adam from Hillview School." Adam's heart pounded. He walked to the stage, feeling the bright lights on his face. The audience was silent. He took one deep breath, looked around, and smiled. "Good morning, everyone," he began. "My name is Adam, and I'm here to tell you a story called Who Am I?" His voice trembled at first, but after a few sentences, he relaxed. He told his story from the heart, the story of a boy who didn't know who he was, who struggled with English, who felt lost but decided to learn. Step by step, he told them about his teacher, his grandmother, his notebook, and his dream of helping others. He said, "English didn't just teach me words. It taught me courage. It taught me that I can do anything if I keep trying." The audience listened quietly, and when he finished, there was a moment of stillness. Then came the applause, loud, warm, and full of joy. Adam felt tears in his eyes. He bowed and whispered, "Thank you." When he returned to his seat, his teacher smiled proudly. "You were amazing, Adam. Really. Really. You spoke from your heart, and that's what matters most." Later that day, when the judges announced the results, Adam's name was called for third place. The crowd cheered, but for Adam it didn't matter if he won or not. He had already found his answer. He thought, "I know who I am now. Let's repeat together, I know who I am. I am proud of myself. I can achieve my dreams." Wonderful. That night, when Adam came home, his grandmother was waiting at the door. She hugged him tightly. "You made us so proud." Adam smiled. "I didn't win first place, Grandma, but I feel like I did." She laughed softly. Winning isn't always about trophies. It's about growing, learning, and believing in yourself. "You did all of that," Adam nodded. "Yes, Grandma." "You're right." He went to his room, opened his notebook, and wrote, "Day 80. Today I spoke in front of hundreds of people. I was nervous, but I did it. I felt strong. I felt proud. I think I finally know who I am." He paused, then wrote one more line. "I am a learner, a teacher, and a dreamer." Let's practice those beautiful words. I am a learner. I am a teacher. I am a dreamer. Excellent. A few weeks later, Adam's school held an assembly. The principal stood on the stage and said, "Today we celebrate Adam for representing our school at the National Storytelling Competition. He showed courage, kindness, and dedication." Everyone clapped as Adam walked up to the stage. He smiled and waved, feeling both shy and proud. The principal handed him a small certificate. "Adam," she said, "you've shown us that learning is not just about books. It's about heart." Those words stayed in his mind for a long time. Learning is about heart. That evening, Adam sat in the garden and watched the stars. He remembered all the nights he had spent there, studying, dreaming, writing. Now those same stars seemed closer somehow. He whispered, "Thank you, English. You helped me find my voice." And he looked up and smiled. "And thank you, world, for listening." Let's say those sentences together. English helped me find my voice. The world listens when I speak. My words have power. Beautiful job. From that day forward, Adam continued to learn and teach. Every new word felt like a new door opening. Every story he heard taught him something about life. He met people from different backgrounds, shared experiences, and practiced kindness every day. When one of his students made a mistake, Adam said, "That's okay. Mistakes mean you're learning. Every mistake brings you closer to success." The students loved that idea. They started to smile whenever they made an error. "Oops, I'm learning," they'd say with laughter. Adam couldn't have been prouder. One afternoon, his teacher asked him to speak to a group of new students. They were beginners, shy and unsure, just like he had been. Adam stood in front of them and said, "When I started learning English, I was scared too. I thought I would never speak well. But I was wrong. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going." He paused and smiled. English is not just a subject. It's a bridge. It connects you to people, ideas, and dreams. And every one of you can cross that bridge. The students listened closely. Then Adam said, "Repeat after me, I can do it. I can do it." They shouted, "I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I will never give up. I will never give up." Adam looked at them and thought, "This is what I was meant to do." That night, he opened his notebook once again and wrote, "Day 90. Today I helped new learners believe in themselves. Maybe this is my real story. Maybe this is who I am now." He underlined the words, "who I am." He smiled, closed his notebook, and whispered, "Thank you for showing me." After Adam's story was published in the local newspaper, something amazing happened. People in his town started recognizing him. Shopkeepers smiled and said, "Hey, you're the boy from the paper." Children waved and called out, "Hi, Adam." At first he felt shy, but soon he realized something important. His story wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone who was learning, growing, and believing in themselves. One afternoon, a little boy from his neighborhood came running up to him. "Adam, I read your story with my mom," he said. "I also want to learn English now." Adam knelt down and smiled. "That's great. Remember, start small. Learn one new word every day." The boy nodded. "Okay, I'll start today." Adam walked away with a happy heart. He whispered to himself, "Maybe who I am is someone who inspires others to learn." Let's pause here. Repeat after me. I inspire others to learn. I am a positive influence. I can make a difference. Beautiful. In the following weeks, Adam began helping more children from his neighborhood with English. Every evening, a few kids gathered in his grandmother's yard. They sat on old chairs, holding notebooks and pencils. Adam taught them simple words and sentences. "My name is," I can. He encouraged them to repeat after him, just as his teacher had done. "Say it with confidence," he told them. "Don't be afraid to make mistakes." The children laughed, practiced, and improved day by day. Adam's grandmother often watched from the porch, smiling proudly. "You've become quite the teacher, my boy," she said. Adam smiled. "I guess I learned from the best, Grandma." At night, he wrote in his notebook, "Day 52, I started teaching English to children. They remind me of myself when I first started. Nervous but full of hope. Teaching helps me grow, too. Let's practice together. Teaching helps me grow. I learn when I help others. I am proud of my progress." Excellent. A few days later, his English teacher visited his home. "Adam," she said, "I heard you're teaching kids after school." "That's wonderful." Adam smiled shyly. "Yes, I just want to help them." The teacher nodded. "That's very kind of you. You've discovered something special. When you share knowledge, you don't lose it. You multiply it." That sentence touched Adam deeply. You multiply it, he repeated softly. He realized that learning English was not just about himself anymore. It was about sharing, connecting, and growing together. That evening, he decided to do something new. He started writing short English stories for his students, fun little tales about friendship, animals, and kindness. The kids loved them. Every story had a small message, something positive to remember. One day, one of the kids asked, "Adam, how do you know so many words?" Adam laughed. "Because I keep learning every day. English never ends. It keeps growing just like us." He paused, then said, "Do you want to learn something important today?" The children nodded eagerly. He wrote on the board, "Never give up." He said slowly, "Repeat after me, never give up." Never give up. The children shouted happily. Adam smiled. That's the secret to learning anything. Later that night, he added another line in his notebook. Day 59. I told my students never to give up. I realized that's what I've been doing all along. Even when it was hard, I kept going. That's who I am. Let's practice that now. I never give up. I am determined. I believe in myself. Perfect. One weekend, Adam's grandmother took him to visit her old friend in a nearby village. The bus ride was long and bumpy, but Adam didn't mind. He loved watching the fields, trees, and mountains pass by. When they arrived, the old friend greeted them warmly. "So this is the famous Adam," she said. "I've heard your story. You're doing wonderful things," Adam blushed. "Thank you, ma'am." During lunch, she asked, "Tell me, Adam, what's your dream?" Adam thought for a moment. "My dream? I think I want to travel. I want to see the world and speak to people in English. I want to learn their stories." The woman smiled. "That's a beautiful dream. And with your heart, I know you'll make it come true." On the way home, Adam thought about that conversation. The idea of traveling, meeting people, and learning from them made his heart beat faster. He whispered, "Maybe that's who I am, a traveler, a learner, a storyteller of life." When he got home, he wrote in his notebook, Day 65, "Today I realized my dream. I want to travel and use English to connect with people everywhere. I don't know when, but I will one day." Let's repeat those words together. I have a dream. I will travel the world. I will connect with people. My dream will come true. Well done. A few days later, Adam's teacher surprised the class with exciting news. "There will be a national English storytelling competition," she said. "Students from all over the country can participate. Adam, I think you should join." Adam's heart skipped a beat. "Me? A national competition?" The teacher nodded. "Yes, you've already inspired so many here. It's time to share your story with more people." He hesitated. "But what if I'm not good enough?" His teacher smiled warmly. "Adam, you've already proven that you are brave. Don't let fear stop you. Speak from your heart, just like always." That night, Adam sat in silence, thinking. He was scared, but deep down he knew he had to try. If I don't try, he thought, I'll never know what I can do. He opened his notebook and wrote, Day 70. I'm going to join the National Storytelling Competition. I'm nervous, but I want to grow. This is my next step. He looked at the page for a moment, then whispered, Yes, this is who I am, a dreamer who dares to try. Let's pause and practice that powerful idea. I am a dreamer. I dare to try. I can face my fears. I am ready for new challenges. Perfect. Over the next few days, Adam prepared carefully. He practiced his story again and again, improving his pronunciation and confidence. Sometimes he made mistakes, but he laughed and tried again. His grandmother listened every evening, clapping for him after each rehearsal. You sound better every day, she said proudly. Remember, speak slowly and clearly. Let your words come from your heart. Adam smiled. I will, Grandma. He didn't know what would happen at the competition, but one thing was certain. He had already grown more than he ever imagined. The next few months brought new challenges for Adam. School was getting harder. His English lessons were more advanced, and sometimes he felt tired. There were moments when he wanted to give up. One rainy evening, he sat by the window, staring at his books. Why am I studying so much? He asked himself. Does it even matter? He sighed deeply. The rain tapped gently on the glass like a soft rhythm reminding him of something. Then he remembered his grandmother's words. "The more you learn, the more you discover who you are," he whispered. "Maybe this is part of who I am too, the part that doesn't give up." Let's pause here. Repeat after me. I don't give up. I am stronger than my challenges. I keep going. Very good. The next morning, Adam went to class feeling a little better. His teacher noticed his tired eyes and said kindly, "Adam, you look a bit worried. Everything okay?" Adam nodded slowly. "I just feel tired sometimes, teacher." "English is not easy." The teacher smiled. "You're right, it's not easy. But remember, every difficult thing you do makes you stronger. English is not just a language, it's a key. Every new word opens a door." That sentence stayed in Adam's mind all day. "A key," he repeated softly. "If English is a key, then I'm unlocking new doors every day." That evening he wrote in his notebook, Day 36. "Today I learned that English is my key to the world. When I speak, I open new doors. When I learn, I grow stronger." He looked at his notes from the beginning, the simple sentences, the nervous handwriting, and smiled. "I've come so far," he said to himself. He decided to reward himself. He made some tea, played soft English music on his phone, and read an English story aloud. It was difficult, but he didn't stop. He paused at every hard word, looked it up, and repeated it until it felt natural. "Patience," he whispered. "That's who I am learning to be, patient." Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I am patient. I take my time. I learn step by step. Perfect. The next week, Adam's teacher gave them a new assignment. Write a letter to your future self in English. Adam smiled. This sounded exciting. That night, he sat at his desk and began writing. "Dear future me," he wrote, "I hope you are still learning. I hope you still ask questions. I hope you are kind, brave, and patient. I don't know where you'll be, but I hope you remember where you started. I hope you keep helping others and never stop believing in yourself." When he finished, he felt emotional. He realized that this letter was not just an assignment, it was a promise. He whispered, "This is who I want to be." A few days later, something surprising happened. His English teacher invited him to speak at a small community event where students would share how learning English had changed their lives. Adam felt nervous again. "Me, speak in front of everyone?" His teacher nodded. "Yes, Adam, you have a beautiful story to share." He hesitated for a moment, then said softly, "Okay, I'll try." That night, he practiced his speech again and again. "My name is Adam," he said to his reflection. "Learning English changed my life. It helped me understand myself and others. It taught me courage, kindness, and patience." He imagined standing on stage, lights shining, people listening. He was scared but also excited. The day came quickly. The small community hall was full of students, parents, and teachers. Adam's grandmother sat in the front row, smiling proudly. When Adam's name was called, his hands trembled. But he remembered what his grandmother always said, "Speak from your heart and people will listen." He took a deep breath and began. "Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam. When I first started learning English, I was shy. I didn't believe in myself, but every day I learned something new. English helped me find my confidence. It helped me connect with others. It helped me see that learning never ends." He paused, looked around, and continued. "Sometimes we all ask, 'Who am I?' I used to ask that question every day. Now I know that I am not just one thing. I am a learner, a helper, a dreamer, and a friend. Learning English taught me all of that." When he finished, everyone clapped warmly. His grandmother wiped away a tear. After the event, his teacher said proudly, "Adam, you spoke beautifully. You touched everyone's hearts." Adam smiled. "Thank you, teacher. I just spoke from my heart." Let's repeat together. I speak from my heart. I can inspire people. I am growing every day. Excellent. Later that night, Adam walked home under the stars. He felt proud and peaceful. "I think I'm starting to understand," he whispered. "Who I am isn't something I find. It's something I build every day." He wrote in his notebook, Day 43, I gave a speech today. I was scared, but I did it. I think courage is not about being fearless, it's about trying, even when you are afraid. That last sentence made him Smile. Let's practice those powerful words together. Courage is trying even when I'm afraid. I can do hard things. I am proud of myself. You're doing amazing. The next morning, Adam's teacher shared some exciting news. The local newspaper wants to publish stories from students who have learned English, she said. Adam, they want to include your story. Adam's eyes widened. Really? My story? Yes, the teacher said. Your words will inspire many people. He couldn't believe it. His small story, the one he had written beside the river, was now going to reach others. When he told his grandmother, she hugged him tightly. See, my dear, your words matter. You never know who they can touch. That night, Adam looked at the sky again. The stars seemed brighter. Maybe, he thought, who I am is someone who never stops learning, and someone who helps others see the light inside themselves. He smiled, feeling grateful for every mistake, every challenge, every new word that brought him here. Let's close this section with a few final practice sentences. Repeat slowly after me. I never stop learning. My words matter. I am thankful for my journey. I am proud of who I am becoming. Perfect. Remember, just like Adam, every step you take in learning English is part of discovering who you are. Your story matters, your voice matters, and your journey is just beginning. Time passed. Adam grew older, wiser, and more confident in his English. His small lessons in his grandmother's yard had now turned into a real community class. Every evening, more and more children came, sitting on mats, holding notebooks and listening eagerly. He had painted a small sign on the wall that said, English is a bridge to the world. Every time a new student came, he would point to that sign and say, That's what we believe here. English connects us. His students smiled and repeated, English connects us. One day as the class ended, one of his students, an 11-year-old girl named Sarah, came up to him and said, Teacher, why do you like English so much? Adam thought for a moment and then smiled. Because English helped me discover who I am. It gave me a voice and it gave me dreams. Sarah looked up curiously. Dreams? Yes, Adam said. Dreams of travel, learning, meeting people, and helping others. Sarah nodded slowly. Then maybe English can give me dreams too. Adam smiled. Yes, Sarah, English can give you wings if you believe in yourself. Let's practice that together. English gives me wings. I believe in myself. I can make my dreams come true. Beautiful. That evening, Adam sat under the stars with his grandmother. She looked at him lovingly. You've come so far, Adam, she said softly. I remember when you could barely say a sentence in English. Now you teach others, Adam smiled. It's all because you believed in me, Grandma. She chuckled. No, my dear. It's because you believed in yourself. I just reminded you of what was already there. Adam looked at her kindly. You always say the wisest things. His grandmother laughed. That's what grandmothers are for. They both smiled and watched the night sky. Then Adam said, You know, Grandma, sometimes I think about that question. Who am I? And I realize it keeps changing. I used to think I was just a student. Then I became a teacher. Now I feel like I'm both, a student of life and a teacher of hope. His grandmother nodded. Yes, my dear. That's the beauty of life. You never stop learning. And you never stop giving. Let's pause and repeat those words. I am a student of life. I am a teacher of hope. I never stop learning. Excellent work. A few days later, Adam received an unexpected email from the National English Foundation. Said, Dear Adam, we are inspired by your story. We would like to invite you to speak at our annual event about your journey and how English changed your life. Adam stared at the message in disbelief. Me? Speak at a national event? He showed it to his grandmother. Look, Grandma, she smiled proudly. See? The world is calling you again. Adam laughed nervously. But this time it's not just students, it's teachers, professionals, maybe even foreigners. What if I make mistakes? His grandmother held his hand. Then you'll learn from them, just like always. He smiled, took a deep breath, and said, You're right. I'll do it. That night, Adam wrote in his notebook, Day 120, I've been invited to speak at a national event. I'm nervous but excited. I want to share my journey and help others believe that learning English can change their lives too. He looked at the page for a long moment, then whispered, "Yes, this is what I was meant to do." Let's repeat together. I am meant to inspire others. I can speak with confidence. I am not afraid of mistakes. Perfect. When the day of the event arrived, Adam stood backstage, his heart racing. He could see a large audience, hundreds of people, including teachers, students, and guests from different parts of the country. He took one deep breath and remembered all the lessons he had learned along the way. Patience, practice, and courage. When his name was announced, the lights brightened, and Adam walked on stage. He stood at the microphone, smiled, and began. "Good morning, everyone. My name is Adam, and a few years ago I was just a shy boy who could hardly speak English. But today, English has brought me here, to speak to you, to share my story, and to thank this beautiful language for changing my life." The audience listened attentively as Adam spoke. He told them how he had once been afraid of making mistakes, how he practiced every night, how his teacher and grandmother encouraged him, and how teaching others gave him confidence. He said, "English is not just a subject, it's a journey of self-discovery. Every new word teaches you something about yourself." The audience clapped warmly. He continued, "When you learn English, you don't just learn to speak. You learn to dream. You learn to connect. You learn to believe." Everyone nodded, inspired by his words. When Adam finished, the entire hall rose to their feet in applause. He felt tears in his eyes again, but this time they were tears of pure happiness. After the event, a woman from the audience approached him. "Adam," she said, "your story touched my heart. I teach English to adults who are afraid to start. Can I share your story with them?" Adam smiled. "Of course. That's why I tell it, so others will know that it's never too late to begin." She thanked him warmly, and Adam realized something beautiful. His story was no longer just his own. It belonged to everyone who dared to try. That evening, when he returned home, he wrote in his notebook, "Day 130. I spoke at the national event today." People clapped, smiled, and cried. "I think I've finally understood something. When you share your story, you give others the courage to write theirs." He put down his pen, smiled, and whispered, "Maybe that's who I am, a storyteller of hope. Let's say that together. I am a storyteller of hope. My story can inspire others. I am proud of who I've become." Beautiful. That night, Adam looked out of his window, up at the sky full of stars, and said softly, "Thank you, life. Thank you, English. Thank you for helping me find myself." He didn't need to ask, "Who am I?" anymore. He already knew. He smiled and said, "I am Adam. I am enough." Repeat that powerful truth. I am enough. I am proud of myself. I am grateful for my journey. Once upon a time, in a small town surrounded by green hills and quiet rivers, there lived a young boy named Adam. He was around 16 years old, tall, with kind eyes and a curious smile. Adam loved to ask questions, many questions. He wanted to understand life, people, and especially himself. Every morning he looked into the mirror and whispered softly, "Who am I?" This question followed him like a shadow. Sometimes he felt confident, like he could do anything. Other times he felt small and lost, as if he didn't know where he belonged. Have you ever felt like that? Unsure of who you really are? That's where Adam's story begins, and maybe yours too. Adam lived with his grandmother, a gentle old woman who always said, "The more you learn, the more you discover who you are." She taught him many English words every day, even though English was not their first language. Learning English, she said, is like opening a door to the world. One morning, Adam sat by the window holding his notebook. He wanted to write about himself but didn't know how to begin. He wrote one sentence and then stopped. The sentence was simple. I am Adam. He looked at it and smiled, but something inside him whispered, "That's not enough." Who is Adam? He decided to go for a walk. As he walked down the narrow street, he greeted the baker, the shopkeeper, and his friends. Each person seemed to know who they were and what they wanted to do. The baker baked bread. The shopkeeper sold clothes. The teacher taught children. But what about Adam? What was he meant to do? He saw a small bird sitting on a tree. It was singing happily, free and full of life. Adam said softly, "The bird knows how to be a bird, but do I know how to be me?" Let's pause here. Repeat after me, who am I? Say it again, slowly and clearly. Who am I? This question is not only for Adam, it's for you too. That day, Adam decided to find answers. But not in books, not on the internet, not even from his grandmother. He wanted to discover it himself. So he made a plan. Every day he would do one thing that might help him understand himself better. Day 1, he decided to help someone. He saw an old man trying to carry a heavy bag. Adam ran over and said, "Let me help you, sir." The old man smiled and thanked him warmly. That smile made Adam feel something new, something peaceful. As he walked away, he thought, maybe part of who I am is someone who helps. Day 2, he decided to try something new. He joined a small English class in town. The teacher was kind and the students were shy but friendly. When it was Adam's turn to speak, his heart raced. "My name is Adam," he said. "I want to learn English because I want to know myself." The class laughed kindly. The teacher smiled and said, "That's a good reason." Learning English gave Adam confidence. He learned to say things like, "I am strong," "I can learn," "I believe in myself." The more he spoke, the stronger he felt. Let's practice that together. Repeat after me. I am strong. I can learn. I believe in myself. Well done. One afternoon, Adam's teacher gave the class a small writing task. The topic was the same question that Adam had been thinking about. Who am I? He smiled when he read it. It felt like destiny. He started writing, "I am Adam, I am a learner. I am a dreamer. I want to help people. I make mistakes, but I don't give up. I am not perfect, but I am trying to become better." When he finished, the teacher read his words and said softly, "This is beautiful, Adam. You are learning not only English, you are learning about life." That night, Adam couldn't sleep. He looked out the window and saw the stars shining brightly. He whispered, "Maybe I don't need to have all the answers. Maybe learning who I am is a journey, not a test." And he smiled. Now let's pause again. Can you answer this question in English? Who am I? You can say, "I am a learner," or "I am kind," or "I am brave." Every word you use to describe yourself builds your identity. The more you learn, the more you understand what makes you special. The next morning, Adam woke up early. His grandmother was in the kitchen making tea. "Good morning, Grandma," he said. "Good morning, my dear boy," she replied. "You look happy today." "Yes," Adam said, smiling. "I think I'm starting to know who I am." She laughed softly. "That's wonderful. But remember, we are always changing. Every day we learn something new. So, who you are today may not be who you are tomorrow." Her words stayed in his heart. That day, Adam went to the river and watched his reflection in the water. The water moved and his reflection changed shape, but he was still there. He realized that life is like the river, always moving. Always changing, but still beautiful. He whispered, "Maybe I am like this river, growing, flowing, learning, and becoming." And with that thought, Adam felt peace. Learning English, learning kindness, learning patience, all these were part of discovering himself. Every new word he learned was like a piece of a puzzle, slowly showing him the picture of who he was. Before going home, Adam picked up a small stone from the riverbank. He held it tight and said, "This stone will remind me that I am learning every day." When he reached home, his grandmother looked at him and smiled. "Did you find your answer today?" she asked. Adam nodded gently. "Not all of it, but I'm on the way." And from that day forward, he stopped worrying about the question. Instead, he started enjoying the journey. And maybe that's what we all need to do, stop asking, "Who am I?" and start living the answer every day. Now let's review some English phrases from today's story. Repeat after me slowly. I am learning every day. I am growing. I believe in myself. I am on my way. Excellent job. You're doing amazing. Because learning English is not only about words, it's about discovering yourself, your strength, and your dreams. And that's what Adam learned too. So tell me, are you ready to discover more about yourself through this story? Because this is just the beginning. The next week, Adam continued his English classes with excitement. Every lesson felt like an adventure. He loved learning new words, and he often practiced them by talking to himself while walking home. Sometimes people looked at him and smiled, but he didn't care. He was learning, and that made him proud. One day, his teacher asked the class to introduce themselves again, but this time, in more detail. Adam stood up and said, "My name is Adam. I am 16 years old. I live in a small town. I love reading and helping people. I am learning English because I want to talk to people from other countries and learn about their lives." The class clapped. The teacher said, "Excellent, Adam. You spoke clearly and confidently." Adam sat down with a big smile on his face. He thought, "I never felt this confident before. English gives me power. It helps me say who I am." Let's pause here. Repeat after me. English gives me confidence. I can speak clearly. I can express myself. Very good. That evening, Adam decided to teach his grandmother some of the new English words he had learned. "Grandma," he said, "do you want to learn a little English with me?" She laughed softly. "Of course. I'm never too old to learn." So Adam began teaching her. "Repeat after me," he said with a smile. "Hello, my name is Sarah." "Hello, my name is Sarah," she said, her voice warm and strong. "Good job." Adam laughed. "Now say, how are you?" "How are you?" she repeated. They both laughed. For the first time, Adam realized that teaching others also helped him learn more. He told his grandmother, "When I teach, I understand better." She smiled. "Yes, my dear. When we share knowledge, we grow twice as fast." The next day, Adam was walking through town when he saw a group of children trying to read an English sign. They looked confused. The sign said, "Community Library, open daily." Adam stopped and asked, "Do you want me to help you?" The children nodded. Adam read the words slowly and explained what they meant. The children repeated after him, smiling. At that moment, Adam realized something powerful. He could make a difference even with small actions. He thought, maybe part of who I am is someone who helps others learn. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "Day 3, I taught someone today." I felt proud. I am not just learning English. I am helping others learn too. I think this is part of who I am. Let's pause and repeat some sentences. I can help others. I can make a difference. I am proud of myself. Excellent. A few days later, Adam's teacher announced a small competition. Every student had to tell a short story in English about themselves. The winner would get a new English dictionary. Adam wanted to join, but he felt nervous. What if I forget my words? What if I make mistakes? He thought. His grandmother noticed his worry. "Don't be afraid of mistakes," she said. "Mistakes are proof that you're trying." Her words encouraged him. He practiced every evening, standing in front of the mirror, repeating his story again and again. He started with confidence. "My name is Adam. I am from a small town. I am learning English because I want to know the world and understand myself." He practiced pronunciation, gestures, and even his smile. The day of the competition arrived. The classroom was full. One by one, students told their stories. When it was Adam's turn, his heart beat fast. He took a deep breath and began.